Got a call from JP and he said that he's got a really cool cabin out in the Kootenays and an opportunity to go do a couple of things that I've never done before. It was a bit of I guess an intimidating feeling, like, driving 13 hours, including ferry, to go meet people and hope that you get along. But the vibe has been great the whole time. There's been a lot of firsts out here with them and, a lot of knowledge shared. It's been really cool. Well, the biggest thing that I would hope for would be connection. And starting to find connection in another region. So the opportunity to go out and do something that I've never done before and walk in woods that I've never had a chance to explore, for me is something I'll jump at anytime.
Day 3 was, probably the day I was looking forward to the most because I love picking mushrooms. I love looking for mushrooms. And we were also going to go up to an old grove of trees that I knew of. I was really excited to share that experience with Jade and Tana.
Yeah, that's the goal. We'll definitely find mushrooms, hopefully some that we can eat.
Nice,
yeah.
Right on. Well, the plan for the day is to go and see what's been called the mother tree. It's a tree that's 2,200 years old at least. For me, it's just the journey and it's not the destination. Like, yes, we're gonna get to the tree, but what are we gonna find along the way and how can we incorporate that into something fun to cook?
Within about 5 minutes in the truck, we came upon a grouse.
Oh.
So we all spotted a grouse in the ditch on the side of the road. And we go, grouse, and we tell Jade where it is. And he gets out and he's aiming probably 2 or 3 meters higher. And we're like, what is going on? And he shoots. And he gets a bird off a branch that none of us had even seen.
I was able to not only connect with one sitting up in a tree, but when another one flew off into the forest, to go in after it and chase after it and then be able to find that one and start the day off with 2 grouse in the first 20 minutes of our day was a really fantastic experience. Beautiful start to the day.
As we were hiking into the old grove stand, you cut really close to this river. I was out there the weekend before and we had seen a grizzly right over the bank, like in that exact spot. This time there was no grizzly, but there were so many tracks.
Looking down and looking at this big clay pit at the edge of the river where there was numerous grizzly tracks. You have to keep your head on a swivel, or at least I felt I did.
And it doesn't help that JP goes, yeah, they were probably here within the day. And then a few minutes later he goes, yeah, they were probably here just a few hours ago. It's like, well, maybe they're still here.
This is a fresh track right here. This is totally different. Check this out.
We didn't feel like there was really any risk from the grizzlies, but just being in their obvious presence in this old forest, it really does fill you with awe, and it feels like a real privilege.
That is fresh as fresh gets.
We're coming up out of the clay where all these tracks are, and as we're going up the hillside, Tana stops and looks, and she goes, oh, there's wild ginger.
So exciting, and so I called Jade over and I said, hey, this is wild ginger, and sure enough, he snapped off a little piece, smelt it, and it's incredibly fragrant.
One of those things that when you're out walking every day, you don't look down at everything as a food source, but it's a pretty special thing when you slow down and take time to look. You find some pretty cool things. That's huge.
After exploring the area where all the grizzly sign and tracks were, we continued our journey to the old tree, and we got to this massive cedar. And the cedar's reported to be over 2,000 years old, and it is enormous.
Once we rounded that corner, it was kind of shock and awe at first, looking up, and we could have all linked arms and not even been halfway around that tree. So even just being in the presence of these trees that are this old is goosebump worthy, apparently.
You're standing in front of this ancient tree that was already a big tree at the height of the Roman Empire.
I think we all turned into little flower children the second we saw that tree. Jade found not the mother tree, but one off in the distance that he leaned against and was just basking, I guess, in the energy of this tree. And JP is over on the other side, hugging, literally hugging the mother tree.
Just a magical moment for all of us to kind of really talk about just what the forest means to us, and you know, just how special places like this are and why we want to keep them that way. I've been told that some of this area near where JP is, he finds pine mushrooms quite often and winter chanterelles.
We go into this forest where I've had good success harvesting mushrooms before, and Jade had never found a pine, and he was really keen to do so. That was one of his bucket list foraging items.
Almost immediately we were finding pines.
Pine for sure.
Holy moly.
Then it was just 2 hours of complete and utter giddiness.
Holy moly, that's powerful.
You know, you'd weave, and then you'd be crossing paths with somebody, and then you'd weave again, and then you're kind of by yourself, but then suddenly you're beside one another again.
I'm maybe 30 feet behind JP, and Tana is climbing up this hillside, and you know, JP would go, oh, I found some, you know, oh, here's a button. We'd all kind of make our way over to take a look.
Jade's excitement I relate to so much. He really isn't afraid to show how incredibly excited he is about something as small as a mushroom.
Holy moly, that is just one of a kind, that smell.
Every single one you find is a treasure, you know, and if you're somebody who really enjoys eating mushrooms, you know, to have something that you've just harvested from the ground at your feet that you can go home and cook and eat, it's fantastic. It's such a good feeling.
Right?
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah, Jade was really keen on trying the pine mushrooms because he'd never picked them before, so he prepared them. And I'm not going to tell you how because I don't actually remember how he did it, but all as I know, they were absolutely fantastic.
I wanted to just taste the pine mushrooms. You know, we'd gone on this epic adventure and found them, and to be able to just taste just the way they are in the simplest of ways.
I need to get his recipe because I like pine mushrooms, but his were next level.
Salt, pepper, and butter. That to me is how you can get the true flavor of this mushroom, so I could see kind of what it would go with, what kind of flavor profile we're gonna find with it.
Oh my God, like the
flake salt really helps. I'm realizing, you know, I need to make some sort of stock. I've got some arborio rice, and I really want to make risotto. So I figure once I get the stock going, you know, I can kind of work on everything else. I want to sear my grouse breast first to get a nice, really dark color on them, because that's going to not only provide flavor into the bottom of that pan that I'm cooking the risotto, but it's going to provide some nice color and texture. Right after we get those grouse breasts out, I'm going to get the shallots in the pan, and I'm going to start sweating those shallots. Once those shallots have become a little bit soft and translucent, then we're going to add the rice and make sure that there's enough of this roasted garlic oil that I use to coat the rice, because I really want to toast that rice and smell that nuttiness. And once we get that rice toasted, we're going to deglaze that with a little bit of white wine. And once that white wine has reduced most of the way down, we're going to add our first couple ladles of vegetable stock. And every time that it starts to reduce and the vegetable stock starts to almost disappear, we're going to add 1 to 2 ladles more while stirring it as often as we can. And, you know, while that's simmering away, I had some mushrooms that I had pre-cut up, some of the winter chanterelles and some of the lobsters. And I wanted to get those in the cast iron to get a really nice dark sear on them if I could. And then to finish off this risotto, you know, we've gone through all the stock, everything's almost done. I'm going to add 1 more ladle of stock, and you can see it's starting to become creamier. You can take a taste, and you know, if it's not too crunchy, you want it to be al dente, but you don't want it to be mush. So once we combine everything together, you know, we're going to add half of the mushrooms into this. I'm going to have the grouse on the side because I'd like to keep that present on top. Then we're going to add the matsutake, just a few pieces on each. So you get a bite of it, but it doesn't become the full dish. It's just a complementary flavor in that dish. And then just top it with a little bit of flake salt and some shaved cheese, and you know, keep it simple. It seems like a complicated dish, but really it's just some rice with a little bit of onions and mushrooms and some grouse.
Seeing the whole process, being with Jade through the whole day, he's like going through the woods, harvesting these birds and putting this effort into it, and just knowing all of that and then tasting the flavors of the grouse and the mushrooms. I've personally never had anything like that in my life. It was so tasty. It was really incredible. It is so good.
Is it good?
The meal doesn't start when you start cooking it or when you start eating it. It starts first thing in the morning when the alarm goes off and you get up to go get your ingredients. And at the end of the day, you've got the grouse, you've got the mushrooms, all the stuff you work so hard for, and you make this amazing meal.
Oh.
I think it's one of the reasons why, you know, I enjoy, you know, harvesting and hunting and fishing. It adds an element of connection to your food. I just don't know how you achieve that any other way.
That's just unreal, isn't it?
Yeah, at the end of the day, the fun that I've had here and the wild food that we've been able to, you know, all get together over and enjoy together is one of the things that's going to make me want to come back again and do some more exploring and really go dive deeper the next time that we get here.
Oh my God.
I think we all were able to take something away from it and something that, you know, we're going to look back fondly on.